English opening.
Magnus mixing it up, having some fun with his opening choices, and I always like this line for white because now that black has committed the pawn to c6, you're not worried about the queen getting kicked if it went to d4, and now we see that the pawns are alive, but down in this structure, white can hit black with an f3 move in the near future and open the board up.
I think newer players, I'm with you, newer players are always enthralled by black's pawn structure because it looks fancy. You know, you've got the pawn on e4, you've got the space advantage. But if you look more carefully, white's position is very dynamic. You've got a lot of cool ideas here. Queen d3 and e4 is a very common plan. The knight can sink its teeth either onto e5 or f5, which is exactly what Magnus Carlsen is doing as he sacrifices the pawn on c4. And in return, I think he's going to try to garner the bishop pair as well as full control of the center with e4.
And it's like a Catalan, but looks nothing like it because it's a more open board state. And the black king on g8, it is in harm's way. Bishop to g4 was played. If you move your queen off the d file, down goes the d4 pawn with check. So queen d2, Magnus does not mind. And look at the next move, h3, queen f2, pawn g4, maybe pawn e5 when you're good and ready. It does seem like white has an easier set of options than black does.
For some reason, the mental reference is to a set of games in the CGC between Sam Sevian and MVL, whom Sam Sevian knocked out. Sevian kept playing this line in the English and kept winning games precisely in this fashion, where he would get his queen to f2, his rook to f1, ultimately the knight to f5, and you know the train wreck starts really quickly on the king side. So Vidit has to find some way to slow these processes down. He can't just, you know, develop his pieces in a pedestrian fashion, which is exactly what he's doing. But I think that this might backfire after h3. And wait a second, is he going to drop his bishop after bishop e6, d5?
Bishop e6, d5 looks pretty worrisome to my eyes. What is keeping black in that? That is a piece that is going to be lost. But maybe the knight on h4 can be captured, and what is that?
e5 and knight f5, Vidit understandably declines to lose his minor piece, but now he's given up complete control of the f5 square. Magnus says thank you very much.
Looks very pleasant for white because black's extra pawn is on c4. It's not really playing a huge role in this game, and so what Magnus can do now, and he plays queen to e2, he can go after that c4 pawn, but he also goes for e5, bishop takes h6, or knight takes something on the king side is up in the air. Black's position is very precarious. eliminate knight takes bishop on e7. Really great presence of mind. And if queen d4, bishop f7, I think that Vidit, he'll be up a pawn, and he's going to have a very easy time with it.
Technically, white can restore material equality for a very brief period of time. And I'll put these moves, oh, never mind. Magnus will put these moves on the board. I was going to say queen takes d4, bishop takes f7. Very important for Vidit to respond by taking that pawn with his bishop, forcing the exchange on f6. Then Magnus can take on d8 and take on b7. The thing is, in that resulting position, black's bishops are going to be so powerful, coupled with the rook on the open file, that Magnus will just sink under the weight of all the threats. Let's see if Vidit can correctly recapture on f7. Rook takes f7 was worse. Instead, an even more cold-blooded move, rook c8.
It was given a question mark, but I could see Magnus blundering at this stage because he plays bishop e3, everything is loose, so there's no bishop c5 somehow because knight takes f6 check. That's pretty huge. But actually that line continues, right? Bishop c5, knight f6 check, gf. You can't take the queen on d8. Maybe we can bring up an analysis board show that ever so quickly that you can get fooled in such a line.
Absolutely, because after queen takes d8, I'll put this all on the board. Black plays bishop takes e3 check first, then recaptures on d8 with the rook. There was even, after knight takes f6, the avenue queen takes f6, queen c5 was winning for white. Anyways, we're past that, because instead of all this, knight takes d5, queen takes d5, much simpler line that they're going down, and bishop c5 by Vidit, forcing the trade of dark squared bishops. But it looks like Magnus is starting to improve, not even starting to improve his position. Is black even better anymore?
I don't think so, especially given the clock situation and the fact that a passed pawn sits on f7. So Vidit, he needed to be accurate, he was not, and now he needs to avoid a loss when he is 13.9 seconds on his clock.
This is ridiculous. Magnus takes these lost positions, Vidit didn't take on f7, and now not only is he regretting not taking on f7, he might never be able to take on f7 in the future because Magnus is going to cling to that pawn with his teeth.
Uh-oh, and he made a losing move. So bishop c5, rook c5, what does he want? Rook e8.
Rook e8, rook e8, he wins! Magnus wins! How did he do that?
I was going to ask the same question. Vidit, I'm sure, is asking that, and Vidit makes a move with just 1.2 seconds, and rook h8 check, and a new queen appears.
And a bishop disappears. That's it. This is too easy. There's too many pawns for there to be any talk of a fortress. Unbelievable. Now, if you can't win these games, you're done in the match. And that is just a total heartbreaker for Vidit, who played so well to defuse Magnus.